because the closed caption company is on now. You want me to test,
Captioner, excuse me.
test,
Yeah,
test,
he corrected,
test,
he or she corrected their sounds. Okay, I see a test.
check, check. This is
Can you give me a countdown, Patrick, please?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Can the captioner hear my microphone and write down what?
Check, check. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9,
Okay, I see the
10. So we good with that?
Thank you. Real good.
Okay. So,
Stay down there. I'm gonna come down there, Pat.
okay.
Wait, no. You know what? I'll stay up here and judge.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So how's this right now?
Um, and look up. Let me see. I mean, or just look straight up.
Mm-hmm.
Straight ahead.
Yeah. Now keep in mind it's only one side.
Up there. Let me see how it looks with her complexion.
Shirley, if you don't mind stepping here for a second, please.
Do you need to? Hi. What's wrong? There's only light on this side,
Yeah,
not
it's
on
only
this.
one side though.
Yeah.
It's only 6 that's up. My left. My left, your right.
Right.
Okay. I guess we can manage with that.
Okay. So leave just that on.
Really? It's not going to look too dark?
My only concern is if we have console people
Yeah.
coming all the way here,
Right.
as far as the lighting, we kind of lose them, don't we? Do you still see me?
I can see.
And how do I look? It's not bad?
No, it's fine.
Okay.
Maybe it would make sense to turn the other side on versus
Okay. If you don't mind, Shirley. Sorry. Okay. So I guess let's turn off. Okay. How's this? This is what? This is 2? This is number 1.
Okay, let's see how it looks.
This is number 1 on one side and number 6 is on the other side, right? This is 1 and 6. Yeah.
So she turned on number 1.
Yes, number 1 is turned on and number 6 on my left is on.
Number 1 is on and number 6 is on.
Yes, sir.
Let me see her stand in place.
Yes.
Is the audio okay now?
Yes, it's fine.
I'm just going to turn it off because.
Oh, okay. So when they start, you're gonna come turn it on or should we come? Okay. She's gonna turn off the audio.
Okay, we ready? All right, hello. Good afternoon, everyone, and happy Women's History Month. Today, the council is voting on the first piece of legislation of the 2022-2023 session. We're also voting on a few finance items, including a bill and resolution to help seniors and disabled homeowners access property tax relief. There are several resolutions on today's agenda, two of which have to do with the ongoing and unnecessary and horrific war in Ukraine, and the council will vote on two nominations to the city's Conflict of Interest Board from the Comptroller and Public Advocate, respectively. We know that housing is among the most pressing issues for New Yorkers. As New York City continues to face a housing crisis, the first bill this council will be voting on this session is to extend the city's rent stabilization law. To maintain the rent stabilization law of 1969, the council must periodically determine whether there is an ongoing housing emergency, defined as a vacancy rate of less than 5% of the city's rental housing stock. In response, the council may pass legislation extending the city's rent stabilization law until the next determination is due. This determination is based on data and findings from a triennial survey known as the Housing and Vacancy Survey, which is sponsored by the New York City Department of Housing Preservation and Development and conducted in collaboration with the United States Census Bureau. Due to the 2020 decennial census, the survey scheduled for 2020 was postponed to 2021, allowing the City Council until April 1st, 2022, to determine whether the housing shortage was ongoing. Due to additional pandemic-related delays in the Housing and Vacancy Survey, in November 2021, Governor Kathy Hochul signed legislation to amend the Local Emergency Housing Rent Control Act, authorizing an additional extension of 3 months to determine whether the housing emergency is ongoing. In accordance with this, Intro number 70, sponsored by Councilmember Pirina Sanchez, and coming out of the Housing and Buildings Committee, will amend the expiration of the New York City Rent Stabilization Law, reflecting this additional extension from April 1st, 2022 to July 1st, 2022. I would now like to invite Councilmember Sanchez to the podium to discuss her very first bill, a critical one to help tackle the housing emergency we're going through, and congratulations, Councilmember Sanchez.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker. Good afternoon. Today, I am so proud and excited to sponsor my very first piece of legislation and the very first piece of legislation being passed by this New York City Council in favor of City Council Introduction 70. This bill is critical to ensuring that stabilization can continue in New York City upon proper finding of the New York City's Housing and Vacancy Survey, as the Speaker has said. Now, this is really important because rent stabilization in New York State, New York City, has always been a litigious topic. So we need to ensure that our agencies do everything they can as appropriately, thoroughly, and accurately as possible to ensure that the findings of the Housing Vacancy Survey are correct and will stand any challenge once finalized. And so we are going to be extending the Housing and Vacancy Survey deadline for HPD to complete the survey by another 3 months. And at that time, we will get the findings of the survey and know exactly what the vacancy rate is in New York City. Now, rent stabilization is critical because, as we know, 1 million households in New York City are protected by these protections, by rent stabilization, out of the 3 million households in New York City today. Rent stabilization protects our people from wrongful evictions, unreasonable rent increases, and other topics as well, similar to legislation being fought for in Albany, which the previous council passed a resolution to support and which I also support. And with that, I just want to thank the Speaker of the City Council and my colleagues for working swiftly on this bill to protect rent stabilization in New York City, and happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Councilmember, and congratulations once again. Today, We will also be voting on a bill and accompanying resolution to automatically renew all properties that had received a senior citizen's homeowner property tax exemption and persons with disabilities homeowners tax exemption in the 2021-2022 tax year for the 2022-2023 tax year, which provides property tax breaks for seniors and disabled New Yorkers who own 1, 2, or 3 family homes. This would eliminate the need for them to submit the otherwise required application while requiring renewal applications under certain limited circumstances where there is a reason to believe the property is no longer eligible to receive the exemption. These programs apply to 1, 2, or 3 family homes, and our approval will ensure we continue to protect our seniors and New Yorkers with disabilities who are homeowners with property tax relief, placing the obligation on government rather than eligible homeowners to access the program in this time of need. With the prices of essential goods increasing and our remaining in a pandemic, it is essential that we prioritize our most vulnerable New Yorkers. Without our action on this day, none of our senior or disabled homeowners would be automatically renewed in this program, and many would certainly slip through the cracks of a looming March 15th deadline. There are an estimated 7,100 homeowners who have not yet renewed and could potentially benefit from our action today. We will also be voting out 2 finance resolutions relating to the establishment of the Castle Hill Business Improvement District and the West Village Business Improvement District, located in Council Members Farias and Botcher's districts, respectively. Also out of the Finance Committee, we will be voting on a transparency resolution and on the Council's fiscal 2023 operating budget. Out of our Rules, Privileges, and Elections Committee, we will also be voting on nominations to the Conflict of Interest Board, one submitted by the Comptroller of Georgia Pastana and another by the Public Advocate in Ifioma Ike. And we will be passing several resolutions today as well. In the morning of our last stated meeting, the world awoke to the news that Russia had begun attacking Ukraine. Over the last 2 weeks, we've seen the senseless violence continue against Ukraine with devastating impacts. It has led to the fastest displacement of people in Europe since World War II, with over 2 million Ukrainians fleeing. We pray for an end to the attacks and stand with our nearly 150,000 New Yorkers of Ukrainian descent, while preparing the city to support the family and loved ones of our Ukrainian neighbors who are likely to resettle right here in refuge from the destruction of their home country. Today, we're voting on 2 resolutions to support Ukrainian New Yorkers and the people of Ukraine. The first, Resolution number 72, by Ukrainian-born Councilmember Inna Vernikov, recognizes the plight of the Ukrainian people and expresses support for the nearly 150,000 Ukrainian Americans who live in New York City by calling on the United States federal government to offer humanitarian aid and support for the innocent civilians in Ukraine who are currently under threat of military aggression and are being displaced due to the armed conflict in Ukraine. The second, Resolution number 67, sponsored by Councilmember Crystal Hudson, condemns the military attacks by the Russian government and calls on the United States Congress and President Biden to increase and expand the severity of sanctions against Russia for its actions. Our 2 other resolutions are in support of the state legislation. The first, by Councilmember Justin Brennan, calls on the state government to enact legislation creating the New Deal for CUNY. This state bill would waive tuition and create certain staff-to-student ratios that ensure adequate support for our CUNY students. CUNY is a critical pathway to mobility and success for many New Yorkers, often the best option for a college education, especially among low-income and working-class New Yorkers, communities of color, and our immigrant neighbors. Yet, students continue to have larger classes, increasingly taught by underpaid adjuncts and limited access to key supports. The New Deal for CUNY presents a comprehensive approach to improving the student experience at CUNY, providing the appropriate academic, social, and emotional supports students need to graduate, and ensuring CUNY campuses have the resources needed. I have to let you know that CUNY is very special to me. I attended York College for 1.5 years before transferring to Spelman College. I attended York College at the same time that my father attended York College as well, and he earned his degree in economics at York College, CUNY. So it was integral to my further success academically and beyond, as I know it has been and continues to be for so many. Our last bill to be voted on is a resolution by Councilmember Shahana Hanif calling on the state legislature to pass and the governor to sign the New York Dignity Not Detention Bill that would prohibit governmental entities from entering into agreements to house individuals in immigration detention facilities. New York counties currently profit from contracts to detain immigrants, which fuels a larger system of deportation and detention that divides families and destabilizes communities. This resolution supports state legislation that would get New York out of the business of immigration detention. I thank you all very much for being here today, and we can take a few on-topic questions first. Yes?
When it comes to rent stabilization, there are a lot of people, maybe some folks here in the room, are seeing their rents go up $300, $500, $1,000 in the coming year. They aren't in stabilized apartments, but it begs the question, how much are rents going to go up in stabilized units this year? What do you think that increase should be?
Councilmember Sanchez, you want to?
Absolutely, and thank you for the question. I mean, we do have the Rent Guidelines Board who is going to be weighing in and voting on this process, including mayoral appointees, and we've heard a lot from the advocacy community about the need to have a 0 or 1% increase at the most. You know, I will first respect, you know, the analysis that the RGB will do. They have staff, they have economists, they have folks who are looking at the increases in cost of living and the increases in the cost of determining, you know, how much landlords are spending to well maintain their buildings. So, you know, I'd say we first need to look at that, but also understanding, you know, how hard people have been hit during the COVID pandemic. You know, it's really hurt people economically. So we have to see what comes out of that.
Madam Speaker,
Oh.
is there a number you would find acceptable or unacceptable from the Rent Guidelines Board? Is it 3%? Is it 5%? Like, what's the cap you want to see in terms of that?
We're going to continue to work on that to gain consensus along with my colleague and the committee before making that determination.
Mr. Arms, I'm wondering if you could tell me just a little bit about the council's budget. I looked at it, it's up 24% over last year. Could you tell us why you think that big of an increase is warranted and what you're spending the money on?
Sure, I'd be happy to, actually. So I've been pretty consistent in making clear my intention to invest in the professional staff of the council to ensure that the institution is strong, as our co-equal separate branch of government, to conduct the oversight of city agencies and represent council district across the entire city at a level that the residents of our city deserve. A major part of the increase in the budget for the next fiscal year that will begin on July 1st is connected to my commitment to invest in promoting staff leadership, providing raises to the hardworking public servants on the council staff that help council members represent their district and oversee agencies, and are central to the council's operational health. Another major change we've made for the council's central budget is to assume the cost of rent payments for council members' district offices, ensuring parity for members' office budgets to focus on adequately hiring and compensating their own staff and covering other essential costs of operating a council member's office, which I know too well what that can do to a council member and to their staff. And previously, all members had the same budget, as you know, but because real estate values across the city differ, costs differ, and some members had more funds available after paying rent than others, there was less than adequate ability to hire staff and take care of other things, to compensate staff appropriately. So we have eliminated that inequity by assuming the cost of rent payments in our central budget with rent allotments based on the average cost of space in a particular area within the district. And this, to me, this ensures equity across the board for all of our members.
Can I just quickly follow up? Can you give us a sense of the raises, like who got them and how much they were? And just talk a little bit more about, you know, the mayor's, one of his main points in his budget was he feels like we need to cut because of the uncertain fiscal times.
Yeah, understood. And thank you again for the question. Now, we are separate but co-equal with the mayor. So the mayor has his intentions when he looks at one side of City Hall, and we certainly have other intentions. There was parity that had to take place. City Council staff works incredible hours. They work because they love this institution. And across the board, when I came in, I realized that individuals were not compensated adequately in the past, where they should have been compensated. Raises varied. Likewise, when I took a look at, like I just said, my members, and realizing that there was no equity in the receipt of the way that our offices are handled. It was something that needed to be done, should be done, and we're glad that we could make it happen.
Madam Speaker,
Yes, sir.
this might sound like it's off topic, but the idea of the pandemic being off topic is still kind of jarring. My
Yeah.
question is today's council meeting still hybrid, which means some members don't have to attend in person? If so, can you explain to New Yorkers why that is and when you anticipate sort of normalcy in the city council?
Yeah, thank you so much for the question. You know, that the question of safety is still very, very tricky, but we are still keeping with the changes to the open meetings law. New York City Council stated meetings can be streamed live on our website. They're recorded, they're later transcribed. So we're keeping with those guidelines to protect the health and safety of our essential staff and council members and the public as well. So we haven't yet opened council-stated meetings to in-person attendance by the public. But as part of following the applicable laws and orders by the state, we are preparing for the end of the governor's executive order as it pertains to the open meetings law on March 16th. We are preparing how to best host in-person meetings in a manner that ensures a proper social distancing to protect the entire public. We're going to continue to heed the advice of public health experts, and we're going to look forward to welcoming back members of the public as soon as it's safe, and we hope that's really soon.
Just as a quick follow-up to
Sure.
that, is it at all jarring to New Yorkers to have Mayor Adams walking around the East Village, high-fiving everybody, no masks, sitting down inside, I want everybody back in the office, and then just down the hall, the city council in masks, hybrid meeting? It's like there's two governments in one building.
Well, again, you know, we heed back to our separate but co-equal branch, and again, we are heeding the guidelines that we feel to are keeping our staff as safe as possible and the public as safe as possible. You know, we're still in the pandemic, and we can't act like we're out of the pandemic. We're just seeing, you know, the surge of Omicron go down, but now we've got Omicron's sister, Omicron 2, BA2, I believe it's called, and we just have to be careful. We have to make sure that we are adhering to all precautions to keep everybody safe.
Yeah, so just back to council budget. What role is the new city council union playing in that? I mean, were they the ones that were negotiating higher staff salaries? And also, I don't even know, I mean, have they struck is there a contract with the council with you? Have they reached a deal there, or what's the status of that?
Thank you for the question. Great question. Meetings are ongoing with the union. As far as the union participating in these decisions, no, the union did not participate in these decisions that came from myself and my senior staff members. Certainly, we heard the concerns of all staff when it came to the value of the staff that we knew that we had to realize immediately. Thank you, Joe. Yeah.
Also, a follow-up on the rent stabilization. A lot of folks say that because of the pandemic, like the vacancy rate was really high, and that the vacancy. I mean, basically, are you gaming? Not you, but you know, is the city gaming the vacancy survey in order to extend rent stabilization? I mean, is that part of what this legislation is about, like extending the deadline so that the vacancy rate is lower and not higher?
No, so no, the survey has been completed. Its analysis is my understanding from HPD. I will defer the technical questions to them. But that said, the survey was completed by the Census Bureau earlier, I believe this year. I can double check on the date, excuse me. But absolutely not, right? This is the housing vacancy survey is integral to determining the status of vacancy in the city of New York. We're not predetermining, we're not guessing, we're not doing anything. The HPD, they're following strict methodology as they always have, and you know, I'm sure they'd be happy to answer more questions about how they do their analysis.
And so, sorry, just to be clear, the date, so it was due, like you said, April 1st or something, and then this new legislation is pushing that deadline a couple months back, and we're going to get the answers or get the in a couple months.
Exactly. We'll get the results of the analysis in July.
Cool, thank you.
Speaker Adams, we reported for the last 2 days that there's a fairly high-ranking staffer in the mayor's office who is very involved in a district leader race in Brooklyn, calling folks in the community, trying to unseat a 28-year-old who currently holds this office. And yesterday we reported that City Hall staffers were calling council members and asking them to take down tweets. I'm just wondering, do you have an opinion? Do you think that's an appropriate use of resources by the mayor's office?
Well, I'm not fully informed on that, so I'm going to defer that question and look into it and see what I can find out. I'm not fully informed on that.
The Post has done a series of stories this week highlighting the conditions in city shelters. One of the big components of the city's plan to get people off the trains and into shelter is they need reasonable places to stay and services provided. And the stories that expose many of the shelters are still unsafe, and most shelters don't actually have on-site mental services. One, what do you make of the findings? And two, you know, the Council Majority Leader Keith Powers hinted that there might be some oversight hearings. Can we expect those, and when?
Yeah, that's a great question, and it's a subject that, of course, is near and dear to this council's heart. The conditions in our shelters we've known and some of them have been subpar. I find the findings disheartening. I think that we really, really need to hone in on this. I fully support any kind of oversight hearings to get to the bottom of it. There have been ongoing issues with shelters and housing for the homeless population that we will drill down into in our oversight hearings.
Well, if I might, you were speaking a little bit about Ukraine. It's not terrible of a topic, but can you talk a little bit about, you know, whether it was watching TV last night or waking up this morning looking at the papers, what it's like as a mom and a grandma to see the hospital, pediatrics hospital.
Goodness gracious. And thank you for asking me that question and realizing that something like that is extremely sensitive. You know, when I saw the bombing of the maternity hospital and pregnant mothers walking out in ruins, bloodied, other women walking with their children, the crisis is on a level of emotion that is just unbearable. You know, for me as a mom and a grandmom, to think that mothers are suffering to the extent of not right now having a place to deliver their children in dignity, with dignity, and preparing to bring life into this world, and now looking at the ruins around them. So it is extremely painful for me to see that situation, and my heart goes out to the people in Ukraine. Thank you for asking that.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.